Ready?
Justin, middle of the field, 45, 50. Green grass in front of him, leaving Lions in his wake.
I am Jeff Joniak.
Blitz is on. Down he goes! Husker!
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
61 yards! A Sunday stroll for Justin Fields.
Oh, wow!
And
Now, Bears Etc. with the voices of the Chicago Bears, Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer.
Bears fall to 1-5 with another home loss at Soldier Field. It happened on Sunday against the visiting Minnesota Vikings. Welcome into episode 25 of the Bears Etc. podcast alongside my broadcast partner and Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Coming up, our weekly visit with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. And of course, we come to you every Tuesday and Thursday. And we appreciate you listening and hopefully enjoying the shows as much as we are. We'd like to enjoy more wins like we did on Friday after the Washington win. But back home, Tom, and things did not get off to a great start at Soldier Field from the first snap offensively. And it just lingered then with injuries. And, of course, to Justin Fields, we'll talk about that. His dislocated thumb, x-rays negative, MRI on Monday. We'll know more as the week goes on. Tom, I don't know if you have any familiarity with thumbs and how they handle such a thing, but it's about the grip of the football, and if the man can't grip the football, he's not going to play.
Yeah, I think two, positions, the offensive center and the quarterback. And, maybe the best guy to go to is Lucas Patrick because he faced the same injury this year. And it is all about grip strength. And if you don't have strength in your grip and strength in your hand, you can't accurately throw the football. And then the worst thing is if you don't have a healthy grip, and then you follow through with your throw, and you should unfortunately hit it on a helmet of one of your offensive linemen or a defensive player, then that could give you a setback that may be unrecoverable.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't been ruled out by Matt Eberflus that he could play on Sunday against the Vegas Raiders at Soldier Field, but right now, doubtful. They were asking him during the news conference if surgery is a possibility. Would not go down that path, and we'll hear more from Matt in our weekly interview here in just a moment. But you have to prepare for an extended absence. So how that unravels itself is yet to be determined. But right now, all signs point to Tyson Bagent making his first pro start against the Vegas Raiders on Sunday. How did he acquit himself, in your opinion, after you watched the tape?
I think he played well. What he tried to do almost on a couple plays is a little bit too much. The one that he fumbled on, he was able to avoid the first rusher, but they were bringing multiple rushers at him. He has to understand, what are my options? If I have no real viable option downfield, then I got to get outside the tackle box and throw it out of bounds and live to fight the next play. And then when he tried to throw it up in the air at some distance, he really put the defensive players in the advantage, and it resulted in an interception. So I believe throughout the course of his quarterback career, he knows not to make those mistakes. And I honestly don't think he'll make those mistakes again. Actually, with a full week's preparation, I'm excited to see him play. I'm glad they have a home game because he's going to be able to be in control of the rhythm of the offensive play with the cadence that he's going to deliver. So if Justin Fields doesn't play, this is something that Bagent, the reason he's in the NFL, Jeff, and the reason that you saw him at the Senior Bowl is this is his desires in life, is to be a quarterback in the NFL. Did he think it would come this soon? Probably not. However, I'm not surprised it came at all, and I am excited to see what the future brings for him.
Take a chance. Download the BetRivers app today. Jeff and Tom of the Bears Etc. podcast. So let's listen to some of his teammates who had an experience with him, working on the scout team, working behind the scenes. Here is D'Onta Foreman on Tyson Bagent.
I think he commanded the huddle really well. We've seen his poise and his presence, through training camp, preseason, and, and then even at practice, running the scout teams and stuff. So, I don't think he showed anybody anything different than what we expected him to be. So, just if he does get the, chance to go out there and start, I think everybody will rally behind him, and I think he'll handle the moment in itself, well.
And Foreman obviously had worked with him on the scout team. He got his first significant playing time with the Bears on Sunday, and I'll tell you, I was excited about what I saw from Foreman and the emotion after because he was close to breaking some big runs, as he explained here.
Yeah, of course. It was my first game in a while. No excuses. I'm just trying to get my foot and get everything, get back to being myself. So just little hiccups yesterday, but definitely some stuff I can clean up. Nothing that I'm really worried about, but just trying to figure out a way to be better.
And, Tom, you saw that, too. He was pounding his hand on the turf. He got just tripped up a few times. Maybe with more reps, he'll be able to step out of those tackles. He seemed to gather some momentum as the game went on at running back. And certainly with Khalil Herbert on the injured reserve list and Roschon Johnson uncertain return this week as well after he recovers from a concussion, D'Onta Foreman's going to get the lion's share of the carries again. What did you think of his performance, and did you understand what he was talking about in some of those near misses?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, the running back position travels well. It's not like you need weeks and weeks of time along with your football team. He's been here since the beginning of training camp. He understands every assignment from the running back position. He understands how the offensive line works in front of him. He made some great vision decisions during his first opportunity to play this past week. And like other players in other positions that get multiple weeks to play, I expect more out of them, because in your description of a lot of those plays, Jeff, he was a trip of the foot away. He was a tackle around the waist away from breaking it into a big play. And so I think now that Luke Getsy has got a little bit of an understanding of what D'Onta Foreman brings along with his running back style, you can probably put together a game plan that better fits his abilities.
Also now to the protection, because you have very strong knowledge on how these things have to handle themselves with a heavy blitz team, and it was over 70% according to Extra Pressures, according to all the stats out there, that Brian Flores fired at the Bears, and we anticipated that. The Bears anticipated that. Some of it's on Justin. Some of it is on the offensive line. Some of it's on pass protectors, including the running back or the tight end, all of it. Everybody had a hand in it, and the Bears have faced multiple pressure package defensive coordinators and play callers, like in Tampa Bay, like in Kansas City, and they're going to face an outstanding rusher coming up in Mad Max Crosby against the Raiders. Do you feel more teams that maybe not even inclined to bring pressure packages, will they continue to test the Bears until they stop it and come up maybe and do more blitzing than they ordinarily do?
I mean, there's going to be down and distances where they're going to be invited to test the blocking ability of the running back position. But now what am I going to do as the running backs coach? I am not going to have my running back sit and absorb the rusher that they're responsible for. If they're responsible for a rusher, I'm going to have them attack. My running back, remember, Jeff, when we were talking about the great Walter Payton block in the Minnesota game?
Yep.
Walter Payton didn't sit and wait for the rusher to hit him. Walter Payton went and hit the rusher. And so now if you're attacking a rusher, then you're slowing them down immediately, because now they're processing information of how they're going to slow you down. And so I think the first thing the Bears should do is allow the running back to attack their responsibility. And I think it would also help the quarterback in providing that extra half a second, 3/4 of a second of longer time.
All right, time now to listen to head coach Matt Eberflus on the status from Hallis as we talk to him each Monday after games. All right, Matt, good to see you once again. Back on the Bears, Etc. podcast, and we're brought to you by United. Good news, Chicago. United Airlines is getting brand new planes with all the bells and whistles like Bluetooth connectivity, screens at every seat, and room for everyone's roller bag. United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears, and you too. All right, so a tough one yesterday. I said it before, I'll say it again, and it's interesting because you and I talked before the game about, sometimes you look at scores and some coaches say, if you hold this team to this, we think we can win. And yesterday was a game the defense deserved to win the game, right? They gave up 12 points.
Well, when you look at it, obviously it's the ultimate team sport. We always talk about playing complementary football, and then we had to do a better job of that yesterday. We had to do a really good job of working when we do get the takeaway of punching it in for points. And, we do get a punt and pin, to start that third quarter. We have to come up with points there, 7 preferably, but 3 for sure. But those are the situations where they scored 13 points off of their turnovers, and we got 0 from ours. So even in the punt and pin was also so. We have to do a better job there, and that's complementary football. But like you said, the defense, did play really well. Third down defense was excellent. I thought we played the run really well again, and we're certainly in the top of the league in that category. And we just have to again create our own opportunities, to get the takeaways. So when you're +2 or +1 or even in the game, you got a really solid chance to win the game. And we got to get there. And again, we were there a couple weeks ago, and we have to do a better job coming up.
And, we're going to touch on offense here, but do you see the growth of the defense has gone, diagonally forward? It really hasn't been like big dips, and, it's just been growing together. And does it all start with stopping that run? Because it's been pretty consistent, even in games when people may have said, you were quick to point out, hey, they only average this many yards per carry, and that's consistently been the case all season.
Yeah, and it was good. It was really good, and it could have been better yesterday, but it was in the twos, so that's when you're really solid in there. Really the D tackles start that inside. The edge setters, the defensive ends do a great job of setting that cup inside, and then the linebackers, in the secondary pieces, they have to all play a part of it, so it takes all of us to stop the run. And it puts you in good distances, so that's what we always say it, you earn the right to rush the passer, and you do that by playing good run defense on first and second down. So meaning that if you got a first down play and they run the football and it's 2nd and 9, then it's, a high pass, for a lot of people, and if it's 2nd and 9, then you do a great job. If they run the ball, you stop the run again, now you get them in a 3rd and 7+, and then that it's, going to be, high probability of being a drop back pass. They got to, take a little bit more time, and that gives our guys a chance to get home on the sacks, and the pressures.
Do you feel, and maybe your grades reflect it, but I'm asking because it was just through my eyes, did the linebackers as a trio have their best game of the season?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And again, the one thing that was missing there was, the impact plays. So you saw the impact plays that T.J. Edwards made, Tremaine made, Sanborn made, a bunch of TFLs, a couple of TFLs, and did a really nice job there. So all three of those guys played really well. We worked on with the whole defense, in tackling, and in angles, so we call it the cup, so there's a force player that's an outside-in player, there's a pursuit player that's inside out, and then there's an apex player that's over the top. So basically forming a triangle on the ball, and we really worked on that during the week. During drill work, during the team periods, and it paid off for us. We only had 5 missed tackles in the game, so our angles were way better. And again, we want that number to be under 5 every single game, and we're working to improve that, and we did.
And some of those space plays where a guy's one-on-one with somebody, there's that thigh tackling going on. Has it been really good in your opinion?
Better. It's been better, yeah, for sure. I thought our vision and break, what that means is that, I'm dropping into a zone. And, we played some man yesterday, but, of course, we played some zone too. And that's meaning you're set up in your drop, your vision the quarterback, and then you break on the ball. So if you look at that, if you want to measure that, so if the quarterback throws the ball 15 yards in the air, we should get 1/3 the distance of break. So we should be able to break 5 yards when the ball's in the air. So we can measure that. We show the players that. And that's an important piece to having a successful defense.
I'm oversimplifying it, but can one snap, especially the first snap of the game, kind of spoil the stew when you're talking about pressure? Can it impact a game significantly? No different than last Thursday night when you kind of set the tone with a deep throw to Mooney. It didn't connect, but we're going to put the ball in the air. Can the same thing happen to a quarterback and an offense on one snap?
I don't think so.
No,
I really don't. I think it's cycle of the snap. I think you move on. If you have a positive play, that's 40-yard chunk play. That's great, but you got to move on to the next play because then you're trying to score. If you have a negative play, that's a -7 on the first one. Okay, there was a mistake made. Either the protection wasn't right or the delivery of the ball wasn't correct. But then you got to move on. It's like anything. You got to just play one snap at a time, move on to the next.
What was your opinion of how that pressure was handled overall?
On that one?
No, the day.
The day? Yeah. It certainly needs to be better. It wasn't where as tight as we wanted it to be for sure. We made some mistakes there, but we certainly got to do a better job of overall as an offense. Again, it's not just one guy. It's always all 11 of us getting that job done.
So, given the injury that you don't know everything about yet, are you optimistic in terms of the long term for Justin Fields? We're not just talking about Sunday against the Raiders, or are you concerned?
Well, we'll see where it is. Like I said, obviously he did dislocate his thumb. He got the X-ray, which was negative. Well, that's a positive thing. And he got an MRI, and we'll see where it is, relative to his grip strength at the end of the week. Right now for this week, we think it's doubtful that he would come back that fast. But again, he's a fast healer. We'll see where it is.
Everything we saw from Tyson Bagent that you saw from inside, we're watching just some preseason snaps in practice. It seemed to be evident that, and the way players responded after the game talking about him, huddle confidence, poise, it's all there. There were breakdowns, obviously, and things that didn't go well. But was that a picture of what you saw all the time he's been here? Yeah.
And again, he's earned his opportunity. He's created that himself, and once he settled in, he looked good. He showed some promise there, and we're excited to see where it goes. Again, if Justin, is out this week, it'll be an exciting opportunity for him.
And one of the quick release, and you mentioned many times just his ability to diagnose, and his knowledge is evident of a guy who's played a lot of football. It may have been in Division II, but he's played a lot of football.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the record in NCAA for touchdowns. I mean, so he's thrown a lot of passes, and it's an important, for us to create that opportunity, in terms of getting the ball to the skill, for him. And I think that he's accurate. His rhythm timing's good, and he's got really good ability to get the ball out fast.
This is just being a guy who didn't get to play the game, but I was nervous for him because, you forget that he is an NFL player, that he earned his right as a backup quarterback based on your evaluations of him as a coaching staff. But he's a Division II quarterback, a rookie going up against that defense that was bloodthirsty yesterday, coming with 6, 7, whatever, how many pressures they had in the game. And you're like, oh, gosh, can he handle this moment? Did that say a lot about him?
Yeah, I would say so. He's always been poised. He's always had, great demeanor, in the pocket, in the huddle. And, he showed that yesterday, and again, it started out a little bit, dicey at first, but again, he settled in, and he showed his poise, and, had some nice passes, and I thought he operated the offense nice.
All right, let's you added a defensive coach, senior analyst Phil Snow.
Yep.
People who follow the game know he's had a ton of experience in the college game. I believe he's at Baylor, right? He's coached a lot of places.
Yes.
But how did you get to meet him, and what will this do for you?
Yeah, he's most recently the defensive coordinator at Carolina Panthers. He's worked in the pro game. He's worked in the college game. He's been a coordinator at all levels. And he's going to be the senior defensive analyst for us, and he's going to work in-house in the office for us and give us a summary of the next opponent. So he's always going to be advancing the week ahead, and that's an important piece for us because it'll enable us to get ahead, game planning wise early in the week, with him giving us his expertise and the summary of those things. Meaning that, a first and second down run, first and second down pass. What does he see? How should we attack this offense? With coverage, with front, with pressure. And, what's the best way to go about that, in his opinion. And then we'll just, bounce our ideas off each other. And he'll go through third down, red zone, 2-minute, all the various situations. So, and again, he's not going to be at the games. He's not going to have a headset on during the game. He won't be at the game. So he's always going to do the advancing for us as we go. And, again, he'll be here during the course of the week.
So for those who don't know this, there's a pro scout that does it every week for the entire team and special teams every week. Will they work in concert together?
Yes, they will. Yes, we have a great advanced scouting staff that's part of our personnel department, and they're really advancing us in terms of they go they're allowed to go to the games and all those things. So they tell us the no huddle and the operation of the offense, and then really
details about every guy on
the
roster.
Personnel,
yeah.
Exactly. So that's their expertise, and they talk about each guy, what his strengths and weaknesses are. And, where that particular player is.
All right, I want to switch to Velus Jones. I saw him in the locker room Friday before the game, and he had this look. I go, hey, man, I wish they'd give you a chance. I wish they'd kick it to you, And he goes, keep an eye on this game. So I was waiting for it, and the line drive kick to start the game, and he has a big 30-plus yard return. He had a 37, a 31, got involved in the offense. And, I'm looking at him without a shirt off on Friday, right? And he is a thick. You don't realize just how thick and big this guy is. A guy who has almost a running back type body, And was that encouraging to you to see? You could feel his explosiveness and all that. Is there room here for growth?
Yeah, absolutely. We like to get Velus going in the offense. Doing the things that he does well. And then really the kick return game is his specialty. So it was exciting to see that again, to get a first down, or so before for our offense and get the field position there, which is always good. And again, Cairo had another good game.
Yeah.
Cairo continues to play really well. Trenton had a nice little punt and pin in there, so there was some impactful plays made by the special teams during that game.
And you're really not getting very few special teams penalties, which are killers. I know
no
you're
doubt.
You're big on the penalty thing to begin with.
Yeah, we had 5 total yesterday. They called the one on Cody for the false start and the short yardage. We ended up converting on that 3rd and 5 anyway, but they called him for moving the ball forward a little bit. So again, that's we'll see where that is. We'll turn that in and see what they say.
I guess the offensive line is just going to be. It's unbelievable, right? Have you ever been a part of so much change?
Yeah, it's been a lot of change, no doubt. And again, that's the guys have been experienced at playing different positions because where we were in training camp. We had a lot of guys out there in training camp, so Jatari's had some work. Cody's had work at center and guard. Lucas is at work at center and guard. So we're able to, move those guys around best way we can.
All right, let's look at the Vegas Raiders real quick. Coming in, uncertainty about their quarterback too. Doesn't sound like it's a serious injury, but may not mean a start for Jimmy Garoppolo. Brian Hoyer finished up yesterday. The week before, though, Stevenson High School's very own Aiden O'Connell. I'm sure you looked at him in the draft, too, during that process of evaluation out of Purdue. He started in week 4, so I guess it's the unknown, but Devontae Adams is there, so that's all I need to hear. That's a guy that you gotta cover.
Yeah, every week's a different set of circumstances here, and we'll get game planning this coming up today here shortly, and we'll see where it is. But our eyes are forward, looking to Vegas, and it's going to be an important time here Monday, Tuesday to put a good game plan together.
You always notice great pass rushers, Matt Crosby, from your experience.
Yeah, he's just a hard-charging guy, and he's everything that football stands for. He's a great player, works extremely hard in practice because Travis, our D-line coach, coached him.
That's right.
And he's a special guy and certainly creates a lot of pressure.
All right, good luck with your preparation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, a couple things that we touched on. One is the addition now of a senior defensive analyst, Phil Snow, coming in from his days with the Carolina Panthers as a defensive coordinator, heavy college experience as well. Baylor, many other colleges, got over 40 years of experience. It'll be as an advanced guy to kind of complement what the pro department is doing. The pro scouts do advanced work every single week. They go to the games of the next opponent. And so this is another helping hand for Matt Eberflus to tend to other matters as well. You think it's a good idea?
I do. But, Matt said he's excited to tap into his knowledge, how he sees things after he does scouting. And I think, look, if you're going to talk to a knowledgeable football person that has decades of experience at the college and pro level, maybe he's the guy that can feed you a little bit of an idea that say, hey, I've used this in my past, and these are the experiences that I've gone through. So he's not going to come in here and change the philosophical thinking of Matt Eberflus. What he's going to do is he's going to come out there, scout the opponents, and tell you what they do well and where their susceptibilities are. So look, at another smart guy in the room is never going to slow the process. Matt's a smart defensive coach himself, and I think that having another guy on hand that he's comfortable with will benefit the team in the long run.
We also learned that Nate Davis has a high ankle sprain. Those are, it's week to week, but those are going to last a little bit, aren't they?
It is, because, you talk about a big guy and how important your feet and the push and the ability to condition and everything you need to do in order to do your job as a movable offensive lineman. You got to be healthy and you got to be confident in your push and your retreat and your pulling ability. And again, the continuous conditioning that you need as the season winds on. So I'm super disappointed for Nate because I thought he and Darnell had an opportunity to develop something special on the right side.
Yeah, Darnell right at right tackle, Jatari Carter, the likely man to move in at right guard. Vizzy Hart-Seltzer, the official Hart-Seltzer of the Chicago Bears, and the rookie Terrell Smith, of all things, has mono, Tom. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks.
The status of Hallis, when you said that at the beginning, I was going, wow, I wasn't expecting so many,
Nuggets.
negative issues. However, when you talk about mononucleosis, and I've never had that in my life, here I am 60 plus years old and I've never gone through that. So I really don't know what he's experiencing. So, however, I'm disappointed in the young man because he's really opened a lot of eyes about a guy that you'd like to continue to cultivate his talents. And now he'll be out for a period of time and probably away from the building, and it's super unfortunate this time.
No, Tommy, it's massive fatigue. Your spleen gets swollen. That's a dangerous thing if it gets hit in a game or hit anywhere. And if that bursts or whatever, that's a bigger issue. So that's the story on Terrell Smith.
But since you've had it, so the recoverability of that sickness, is it your conditioning is going to take longer because it is extreme fatigue? Is it the heavy breathing that you go through when you are fatigued? What is?
Well, I think it's the spleen. The spleen is the number one. That's
really?
The number one. So it's probably contact. But yeah, I had it when I was younger, so I can't compare to a professional athlete right now. But yeah. Defense was terrific. We touched on that at great detail, as you heard from Coach Eberflus. And to me, as I mentioned to Coach, it seems like it's been incrementally growing, and they're growing in confidence. Could this team become defensive dominant right now while we sort things out again offensively with potentially here a new quarterback for several weeks?
Jeff, if they continue to play supportive football like they did against the Vikings and they did against Washington, for example, it's the caused fumble by T.J. Edwards that we both thought it was a sack and a sack and then an interception. It's the play initially made by T.J. Edwards, but then it's Tremaine Edmonds that understands the flight of the football and goes after it. It's another play later in the game where T.J. Edwards makes an initial hit for a 4-yard loss, but then he's got 3 other teammates that are coming in, making sure that they're surrounding the running back, and it is a stop for a 4-yard loss. So I think that football, that it's a supporting cast effort, it can be super destructive. And if they keep that up, I think it can be the best part of the football team.
Right now, when you spend over $2,999 at Steinhoffel's, you'll score a $100 Bears Pro Shop gift card. Visit any one of their 4 Chicagoland locations: Vernon Hills, Crystal Lake, Downers Grove, and Harwood Heights, or shop online at steinhoffels.com. What do you think the Bears are going to do at the center position, and how do they get better at snapping the football?
If they're comfortable with the relationship between Bajan and Lucas Patrick, they could probably go in that direction because, I think they're going to have to do a little more investigative work with Ja'Tari Carter. Is he the guy that you want to go to for the however long Nate Davis misses, or do you want to put Cody Whitehair in there at right guard? So, I think if you look at a right-handed man like Cody Whitehair in a right-handed stance, playing next to a guy like Darnell Wright, I think he could go in there and give you as confident, strong guard play as anybody else. So I think that's a decision they have to make. They're super fortunate that Doug Kramer is getting back in the practice fold after his hand injury in case you had to go to the next level at center. But they also have Dan Feeney, who is a guy that can play any interior position. And if you're looking to see who is the best shotgun snapper in this offense, maybe it's between Lucas Patrick and Dan Feeney even, that Cody can stay at the offensive guard position. But how much under center work are they going to do with Badgett? Or how much shotgun are they going to do with him? So I think that's a decision that they have to come to that conclusion that will go through the eyes of Luke Getsy to Chris Morgan and all the offensive coaches.
Are there any other things that we haven't talked about? Those are kind of the headlines from the game. The fact is the Bears are now 1-5. They've lost so many games in a row at home. It's been a long while since week 3 against Houston that they've won a game. What else do you see on tape that is either something concerns you or something that you're excited about moving forward?
I want to talk about some encouraging things. First of all, they asked Matt Eberflus today about the status of Braxton Jones, and he was non-committal to anything. But I'm really encouraged by the way Larry Borum has been playing, because you didn't know that how he was going to play at the left tackle position until that he had to go in after the injury. He had a week to practice, and he's played well. They really haven't skipped a beat in terms of on that side of the offensive line. I'm also encouraged by the multiple levels of use by Velus Jones Jr.
Yep.
Because I kind of was like disinterested in Velus for a little while. But okay, Velus, you got my interest again. I want you to continue to show me what everybody said about you since the moment that you were drafted. Opening up with the 37-yard kickoff return, going for a 17-yard sweep. The first pass caught by Bagent was Velus Jones Jr. So because of those efforts, Jeff, I'm going to probably give him 5 to 6 more touches. And that would be including giving him the ability to make a decision on kickoff return. I'm going to give him a couple of other plays at the running back position. I'm going to have him be a receiver because he's probably got more reps in practice with Bagent than the starters do. So, Velus, you're on notice, man. I'm happy with what you did, and I'm going to raise my expectations for you.
Yeah, definitely talked about it with Coach Flus in that interview. We're brought to you by PNC, official bank of the Bears. Got a question about it. Just popped into my head because we see so much shotgun out there. Kirk Cousins got under center quite a bit against the Bears. Where are you at for this team, this offense, from under center versus shotgun? And would you favor more under center snaps? You touched on it already a little bit, but what's your thought?
Listen, I'm not a big fan of a standstill running back from a shotgun position next to the quarterback, because there's a lot of indication of exactly where the point of attack is going to be, where he's going to run to if he's on one side. Now, if you have a quarterback that takes a center quarterback exchange from underneath the center, there's an intersection. Right? The quarterback is dropping back and the running back already has his momentum going forward. So he has a head start as he hits the line of scrimmage. Now he's able to hit the point of attack with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more power. And maybe that allows you to bounce off an attempted arm tackle and go from a 2-yard carry to a 5-yard carry. Look, one of the greatest running backs in the history of football, Walter Payton, made a living out of running out of an I formation, escorted by a great fullback, Roland Harper and Matt Suhey and Calvin Thomas. So to me, bring back the old school and bring back a little bit more running back effort. And I think that you'll also provide a point of attack running game with your offensive line that can get you that average, that 4+ yards a carry that can earn time of possession, scoring field position, and wins.
For all your journeys ahead, go with a partner who's been on your team from the beginning, the one members and communities have trusted for over 85 years. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, always standing by you, with you, for you, through it all. All right, let's take a look at the Vegas Raiders before our big breakdown later on in the week. Don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the hospital, back injury. It sounds like it's not as bad as they feared, whatever that may be. However, he could still miss this game. So we don't know if it's Brian Hoyer. We don't know if it's Aiden O'Connell, the kid out of Stevenson High School and the 4th-round pick out of Purdue. But we do know this. Devontae Adams will be on the field. Jalen Johnson, the veteran corner, on awaiting that matchup.
I think I've been saying this, 23? I've been saying this for 3 years now. So, I mean, they know, you guys know, Devontae knows that those are matchups I want at the end of the day, and it's nothing that's changed. I mean, I got put into that my second year into the league, so it's definitely not changing my 4th year into the league. I want any and every big matchup I can get. So, I mean, they know what I want, and at the end of the day, it's not truthfully about what I want. So, I mean, if that's something that they feel is in the best interest of the team and the best interest of the defense, I'm going to go out there and continue to do what I do and play at a high level no matter who's in front of me. And if they have me, follow. If they don't, I mean, it doesn't change for me. But I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup, and if I can follow them around, it's even better.
I like the competitive attitude.
This ain't Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. This is Devontae Adams possibly with Brian Hoyer. And so if you could take the template of game plan against Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders, attack, bring multiple level blitzes, bring corner blitzes. You make Brian Hoyer be, how old is he, 40?
No, he's not 40. He's not 40. He's in his 30s. Hey, but it could be the rookie Aiden O'Connell also.
Even so.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, so why, I mean, if you want to bring in a guy with years of experience from multiple teams like Brian Hoyer, who's, hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout a whole season, or you want to bring in a rookie quarterback, although he came from a really sophisticated program at Purdue, and I think he's a good football player, I still would attack the line of scrimmage from multiple angles and multiple levels, and we've seen it improve over the last couple weeks. And if you want to, or like we talked about earlier in the show, if you want to have the defense the most important part of your football team right now and give you the best chance to succeed, you got to be aggressive.
And do you suppose the same will be coming from the Raiders defensively for Tyson Bagent?
I do, but a lot of it's going to become a balanced rush. Like you talked about Mad Max Crosby, that guy's legit. He a fighter. He can, if you want to put a tight end on a tackle on him, he's quick enough to avoid both of them, slap by him, and still get pressure on the quarterback. And now having the quarterback look for an escape opportunity, he can close that distance. So when you have a dominant pass rusher, then there's always a balance to your pass blocking that you're going to have to pay attention to. And it was something like that. If he plays over the right tackle a majority of the time, then Larry Borum's going to have some isolated one-on-ones.
All right, let's talk about some other things around the league before we wrap things up. So congrats to the International Federation of American Football. They have managed to put in place flag football in the 2028 Summer Games in L.A. And you know who wants to play?
I do.
He's not joking around. Well, maybe you'll be teammates with Gronk, because Gronk says, sign me up.
Oh, are you kidding me? How awesome would that be to play flag football? You think of guys, like Terrell Owens, he wants to always play. Chad Johnson always wants to play. When we saw Devin Hester out there the other day, I'm sure that he could catch a pass and, return a ball with the excitement that he's always had. So I think it's great, and it's going to be super fun to watch.
Panthers are winless. Frank Reich handing over the play calling offensively to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown. Thoughts on that as they try and work out of their funk with a rookie quarterback?
I don't know why they ever hand that to somebody else. You're the head coach. You have years of experience, and the plays that you're calling, they're just not working because you're not a super talented team as of yet. You're developing a young quarterback. He may be undersized, but he needs time. And I remember Ditka handing the play calling duty to Greg Landry, and only halfway through the game, he grabbed the play sheet away from Greg Landry and started calling the plays again.
Gosh.
So sometimes that necessarily doesn't last for the rest of the season.
All right. I saw this on Twitter, or the X, whatever you want to call it. We talk about one-score games all the time. We talk about the Vikings were 11 wins in one-score games last year, got their first one this year against the Bears in a 20-13 win on Sunday. Since 2007, the one team that has played in more one-score games, 2007, 153. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Tom, and no team has a higher winning percentage in such games than the Steelers. Whoever wrote this up says, win close, win ugly, win late, just win. That's Pittsburgh's philosophy. It should be everybody's.
Listen, the best thing about a team that has that one-win history is when you are down by that one score, then you have the last possession of the football, and then you take it down and turn it into the points that result in a win. That is so gratifying inside of a locker room. It gives you so much confidence and belief that you can come back from anything. It's a heck of a statement for that team.
All right, we know Tom's a great cook, and I gotta give him a big thank you, because before our TV show Game Night Live on Fox, I stopped over at his pad downtown, and he served me a Mississippi pot roast sandwich on a homemade bun with spicy coleslaw. And I got to tell you, it might be
Spicy creamy coleslaw.
It might be the best sandwich I've ever eaten. And it was a nice big sandwich, just overflowing with flavor, overflowing with just pure love. That was something. I got to tell you, that sandwich is unique. I've had it before when we went up to Green Bay, right? We went up to Green Bay, and I ate that.
No,
but this was different. Oh, it was Minnesota? This is different. It was on a different level. And I saw Tom lay it all out and make it all up for me. And I mean, that's brotherhood right there.
No, my mom would be proud. My mom would be proud. And my sister asked me today if you liked it.
Did I like it?
Yeah, I thought
Annette?
it was,
Annette, I'm
Annette
blasting it through the microphone. It was fantastic. I can't wait to eat it again. And I know I have a little leftover they sent me with. Who does that, right? Who gives you a nice sandwich, has a unique name, a Mississippi pot roast sandwich with creamy, spicy coleslaw, and then he gives you a little extra. But I'm missing the coleslaw.
Yeah, I know.
But I'll tell you what, I'm still going
to
to enjoy it tonight for dinner. So a big tip of the cap.
Some type of charity dinner, and I'll do all the cooking and preparation, and we'll have it for a group of special people somehow.
Quite the recipe, quite tender. The meat was tender and the flavor was popping. All right, Tom, that's it for the podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to sign up for your podcasts, and that's YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check us out. Bear down, everybody.